What's up, everyone? Andrew here with Astro Trends. If you're new to the channel, what we do here is combine astrological forecasting with traditional trend analysis to speculate on price movements in crypto and stock markets. So give a like and subscribe to keep up with your favorite assets. All right, so diving into Palantir here, I just wanted to do a quick update. Not much has changed since our last, but I wanted to address this downtrend here and just take a look at where we're at. So yesterday, or this past day, we came down and we touched this line we had dropped in previously at around $21, and we derived this this support line from these price bounces over here, and a little bit of price action off of support and resistance back here on the daily as well. So pretty major line of support here. We could fall lower. That wouldn't be the end of the world. It wouldn't be the end of Palantir. It wouldn't necessarily mean that we would keep dropping, but it would be much more ideal that we bounce here. Bouncing here would show a lot of strength. We would form a kind of sloppy head and shoulders. The head and shoulders patterns, in my experience, don't really need to be so crisp. It really just involves, it's just kind of a basic reversal pattern. I'm sure some people would disagree with that. I'm sure they play out as you'd expect more often when they are crisp and you have the left shoulder and the head and the right shoulder. But a pattern like this, if we get a bounce here and we come back up and test these resistances again and hopefully make a higher low over here, something like that, I think in most cases it kind of plays out similarly to a head and shoulder, where you would take the depth from the neckline up here, say, down to the head, and assuming this shoulder is formed, not necessarily calling it head and shoulders here, but I'm just saying if we find support here and bounce up, it's going to look pretty good. It's a pretty good confirmation of a continued uptrend here. We got this reversal pattern formed here, high or low here, as long as we bounce here. If we keep going down, we could maybe bounce here. There's not really any support between here, not any major support between here and here. So we would probably come down to 1750, and at that point we'd be looking for the double bottom. But it doesn't look so good because we formed this higher high already. So losing this support would be pretty troubling. But so far so good. We want to at the least see some kind of turnaround here before we get lower than this 1740 support. So just take a quick look at these time targets that we dropped in a previous video. We got August 4th and August 24th, as well as we'll take a look at what we've just been experiencing here. So this I wanted to point out. If you've been following our other Palantir updates, we've had Venus, Mars, now the Sun, and Mercury up next, all passing through this pretty choppy zone here in Cancer because it's opposite this Jupiter-Pluto-Saturn cluster here. Jupiter is a bullish indicator. It's good for price, but Pluto and Saturn are pretty volatile, pretty negative, bearish, usually in most contexts, planets. So this combination here, as Venus and Mars moved through here, we saw this big downtrend, or coincided with it. There were other factors as well, but this was a big one. And now we were worried about the Sun passing through here, and we talked about how we might be bouncing around through this zone on our way up because we had so much resistance and support back here, so much choppiness. So we're bound to just get caught up in that again, ideally on our way to new highs or to test previous highs back here. That's our 44 we dropped in. So far, if this is the worst of it, which the Sun is currently sitting between the degrees of Pluto and Saturn, it's opposite on the chart. But this is a pretty big deal in traditional astrology, being trapped between the degrees of two ecliptic planets like this. So if we're seeing the worst of it, it's not so bad. We do still need to see Mercury come through here. But by the time Mercury is passing through these troubling points, we do have Mars conjunct Venus at the same time. But we also, like as I was saying, we have Venus passing over Venus at the same time. So we have some mitigating factors here that will hopefully keep the price up as we battle these zones. This is July 25th here, so that's right around here. It's before our first target. We'll also have the moon in the vicinity of Jupiter over here when we're seeing this hard aspect, but let's push forward, take a look at our targets here. Okay, so we have Venus at the Sun-Venus midpoint. And it's opposite Neptune, which can be pretty nice for price action for kind of big movements, unlikely movements, sort of. And it's trining this structure over here at the same time as well. Kind of that's a benefic aspect. That's a 120-degree angle, so much better than the opposition we were seeing over here. And we also have Mercury and the Sun sextiling the Sun. Moon on this day will be trining Mercury. And as we push later in the month, our other target, at the end of August, we get the Sun conjunct Venus and Venus conjunct the Sun, while we have Mercury and Mars at the midpoint. Now, just Mars alone at the midpoint wouldn't necessarily be hard to call. It could be good or bad for price action. It's going to bring energy to that point. But Mercury here as well, opposite Neptune, in the context of these Sun-Venus conjunctions, just looks really good. So that's 8 August is our target for making some new highs over here. But as those days approach, as we get closer to this target over here, we want to see higher lows, higher highs, or at least maintaining this range here, and then maybe bouncing up suddenly like you saw over here, something like that. So keep an eye on those levels. Keep an eye out for our updates. Not financial advice, of course, but if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment if there's another asset you'd like or something specific, some specific question you may have about Palantir or anything like that. Thanks.